neon pink. I'm actually excited to read The Lord of the Rings. Sentences I truly never thought I'd say. Hello, it is a new year, and a new year means new books. Especially following a Christmas filled with much more books than originally anticipated. I sort of purposefully didn't really ask people for books this year because last year I ended up with a lot, and my TBR is exponentially growing at all times, but I ended up more than I bargained for, so I figured why not do a haul? Post-Christmas kind of hauls are always my favourite, and books are no exception to that. I have books from my friends, books from family, my boyfriend, and also there was a half-price hardback sale in Waterstones on Boxing Day bank holiday, and I may have bought a couple there as well. So we're going to go through them all. There's quite a few. I'm going to try and like breeze through them fairly quickly. I don't want this to be too long, but I do have about 20 books here, but you know, they're not all separate. Some of them it's a whole series, but there's quite a few to get through, so let's just get started. So first of all, from my family, I got an exciting gift of the Illumicrate Archives edition of Jade City, the Greenbone Saga. So this is books 1, 2 and 3. There were some items in there as well, but it was the books that I was mainly in this for, obviously. I read Jade City back in around July. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't want to continue the series until the series was finished, which I believe Jade Legacy came out around November, December time. So I was waiting for that, but then this special edition got announced and I really wanted it, so now I have it. It's really beautiful. They're all foiled, the different colours, they have little stenciled edges, and on the back they have a little print, so one says On My Honour, one says On My Life, and the other says On My Jade, obviously. They're all signed, they're all just beautiful. Yeah, I really love them. So you have Jade City here, Jade War is book 2, lovely red, and Jade Legacy in the blue, which is real chunky. I'm not going to lie to you, this one is a thick boy, but I'm sure you've all heard of Jade City and the Greenbone Saga by now, but if you have not, it's a really great fantasy series. Like I said, I've only read book 1, but it is a really great Asian fantasy with a lot of modern flair to it. It's not your sort of epic fantasy with dragons and whatnot. It's more kind of mafia fantasy, sort of, if that makes sense. It's really interesting, and it's unlike anything I've really read before, but I'm afraid of the pain that it's going to bring me, particularly in the last book. But nonetheless, I'm really excited, and these books are just absolutely beautiful, so I'm even more excited. Speaking of Illumicrate, I also got the December Illumicrate monthly subscription. I've switched to book only probably in around July time. Only occasionally will I get the full box, but this book might be my favourite one they've potentially done. I don't know how well it's going to show up in terms of reflection, because the cover of it is, the dust cover is a see-through plastic. So this is A Marvellous Light by Freya Marsk, and I really love it because the dust jacket is really cool, but also the edges are really cool. So when you take the jacket off, you can see it's sort of just this see-through, but then the actual book itself, the edges and the actual book kind of all flow into one, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I'll be honest with you, I know next to nothing about what actually happens in this book. I think it's like an Edwardian setting for the fantasy. I believe it has LGBT characters, and yeah, I don't know, I know nothing about the book except the fact that it's absolutely stunning, and frankly that's good enough for me. Next up on the agenda was a gift from my boyfriend Alex, and recently, around October, November time, I picked up a book called The Curious History of Sex by Kate Lister, and as someone who doesn't read non-fiction, I'm always hesitant to pick it up, but this book really caught my eye and I really enjoyed it. It was a very interesting look into the history of sex and the taboos and yeah, it's just really, really interesting. But Kate Lister has another book out, and it's called Harlots, Whores and Hackabouts, and this one focuses on sex workers throughout history, and it's just a really cool book. Like, she's really funny. The books have like a lot of illustrations in them, and this one is a hardcover, obviously, which it's just a really nice, it's almost like a coffee table book, but less PG. And yeah, I'm really excited for this one because I really got into her other book, and yeah, so that'll be interesting. Not something that I'd typically pick up, but as I said, recently I've got really into it, so I'm really excited for that. Speaking of non-fiction, then, because I've been falling down kind of a rabbit hole with it, when I went to Waterstones during the sale, I did also pick up a paperback, and it was Men Who Hate Women by Laura Bates. And this is kind of about incel communities and just women hating communities on the internet. And I believe she sort of goes undercover into these communities and talks about how harmful they are and the, I guess, psychology of it. But I don't know, I was just really interested in this because I've been getting into my non-fiction lately, and it seemed like a good next step. Moving on to this big old stack next to me, which are gifts from my lovely friends. So we have quite a few, so I'm just going to go from the top to the bottom. And at the top we have The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, which was a gift from my lovely friend Katie, who you probably all know. She loves Becky Chambers. I know she loves Becky Chambers a whole lot, and I have never read one of her books before. Funnily enough, I'm a sucker for a Kindle deal, and the last couple of months, books 2 and 3 in this series have both been 99p, and I bought them knowing damn well I didn't have the first book, just waiting for it to kind of go on sale or I pick it up. But Katie just seemed to know. She just seemed to know that there was a gap and promptly filled that in. So again, I really don't know much about this, which I know I say about a lot of things, but it's because I like to go into books as blind as possible. But I know that Katie absolutely adores this series and has been trying to get people to read it for ages, so I'm really excited. And I believe it's like sci-fi. I think this is one that has a large found family trope in it, which is one of the reasons I think Katie loves it so much. The blurb is really, really long, but I'm very excited because of all the people who I know who have read this, all of them really, really love it. I don't think I know a person who didn't like it, so high hopes. So thank you, Katie. So next up we have Caitlin's gift, who was very naughty and bought me 2 books, but I'm very excited about both. And as per her note, she also is very excited because these are going to be potential buddy reads this year. Caitlin, if you're watching, I will hold you to this. First up is The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu, and I have seen this series pop off this year, last year technically. I know, oh my god, look how bright the inside, look at how bright that is. Why would I just notice that? Anyway, I have seen this series get really, really, really popular last year, and it was kind of after I saw The Broken Binding did a special edition, which was beautiful, and I was very tempted by it. I know a lot of people were tempted by it, but because I hadn't read it, I was like, I can't do it. But if you haven't seen it, I'll either put a picture up here or you just look it up. It was beautiful. Essentially, like, the covers were on the they were also stenciled edges, and it was just beautiful, and it will forever be one of my biggest regrets if I end up loving this series. But again, Katie also really loves this series, which is a theme through a fair amount of the books I read, if you haven't already noticed. But yeah, I've heard great things about this from her. I don't really know many other people personally who have read it, but clearly it's very popular. And I think the 3rd book came out not too long ago, and I'm really excited. And also the cover is just beautiful. I know they changed it because it used to be black with like a skull on the front, I think. I much prefer this cover. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm very excited about this. I think this is also, you know, Asian fantasy, which I love. I love Asian fantasy. Yeah, I've got no idea what it's about. Engineering? I don't know. Seems like it has sort of a, not necessarily sci-fi aspect to it, but potentially, in terms of machinery and things. Like, I think it's going to be more modern than I thought, but also not. If that makes literally any sense. I'm purely going off of covers and the fact that it says engineering on the back. So take from that what you will. I'm excited about it anyway. So thank you, Caitlin. Also thank you, Caitlin, for The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. Another one that I saw pop off last year. And I know several people who absolutely adore this, including, once again, Katie. A few people, I think Sarah also loves this, and yeah, I'm excited. I've heard great things. I think this is sapphic fantasy. Excellent. Sign me up. Once again, these all have such long blurbs on the back, so I can't give you like a quick run through, but I just heard great things about this. The back line is: fortune favours the bold, magic favours the liars. Ren is a con artist who has come into the sparkling city of Nadezra with one goal: to trick her way into a noble house, securing her fortune and her sister's future. But her masquerade is just one of many, and as corrupt nightmare magic begins to weave its way through the city of dreams, the poisonous feuds of its nobility and the shadowy dangers of its impoverished underbelly become tangled, with Ren at their heart. Which, yeah, sign me up. Masquerade, magic, underhandedness. Sign me up. Sign me up. I'm ready and very excited. Thank you, Caitlin, again. On a completely different note, my friend Tati, my lovely, lovely friend Tati, who is just one of the best people I know and knows my tastes very well. And we both share a mutual love of adult romance and also, namely, Sierra Simone books. Now, I've read most of Sierra Simone books, so has she. I don't actually own any physical copies. I don't tend to buy physical copies of romance, just I read them all on my Kindle. But she bought me Priest, Sinner, and Saint, all three in the Priest series. I don't know what the series name is, but it's all three of them because she's very generous and very naughty and just the best. So I've actually read Priest, I've read Sinner, I haven't read Saint, which is the newest one, which is a male-male romance. But Tati has read this because she read it like as soon as it came out, because she's way more on top of things than I am, and this is potentially her favourite one in the series, so I'm very excited to read this and also get to revisit the other two because I really enjoyed those as well. So yeah, I have a full Sierra Simone series on my shelf, which I'm very excited about. And yeah, if you're a fan of your new adult romance, you obviously probably know Sierra Simone. It's great. I just check it out. And finally, we have my friend Lucy, who I love Lucy also very, very, very much. And she was also very naughty because everyone was just really just making me out to be a cheapskate this year, I feel like. And she bought me something I've been looking forward to for a very long time. She bought The Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. So that is Malice, Valor, Ruin and Wrath. I'm so excited for this. I have been wanting to read this series for a very long time. I've heard great things about it. I've never read a John Gwynne book. I have where is it? The Shadow of the Gods. I have The Shadow of the Gods up there. I still haven't read it, but I've heard his books are really great and his world building and his characters are really great. And I know Lucy read this last year, this whole series. I think she read it all in like a weekend because she's insane. I love you, but you are insane. And she loved it, and she's been nagging me to read it for the longest time. So now's the chance. And once again, potential for buddy reads, and I just love when people send me things that I can enjoy with them. That's always my favourite kind of gift, so I'm really excited. If you've read this, because I know kind of most of my channel is fantasy now, and I know a lot of people who watch me love fantasy, and this is super popular. So if you like it, or you have any thoughts, please let me know, because this is one of the series I am most excited to read this year. So yeah. So thank you, Lucy. So then finally we have the hardbacks that I bought from Waterstones during the half price sale because I couldn't help myself. One of them is a real doozy of a book, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm gonna save that till last because I'm a tease. And firstly, we have How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie, which has lovely coral pink sprayed edges. This book came out last year and I remember seeing it in Waterstones and very, very nearly picking it up because I think it's kind of a murder thriller comedy, like a dark comedy, which I'm really into, and I don't read a lot of. I watch a lot of it, but I don't read a lot of it. So I'm very interested to give this a go, and I was really glad that I didn't pick it up earlier on in the year because this is like a lovely special edition with the black cover and the pink edges, and I just think it's beautiful. And I'm really, really excited. I actually saw somebody on my Twitter read this a few weeks ago and really enjoy it, so I'm very excited. I don't know much about the premise other than it is a sort of dark comedy, but I think the main character is arrested or imprisoned for murder, but she didn't actually do it, but she did kill other people. So she's been accused of murder, which is correct, but not for the correct people, which is just such a funny concept to me. And yeah, I'm very intrigued by that book. Secondly is one I've also had my eye on for the longest time, but if you know me, you know I always say that I'm not a sci-fi reader. I want to be, and I'm trying to get more into it, which is why this purchase comes in. But I wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't half price because of my uncertainty. But if I don't like it, A, it's a gorgeous book, B, Alex will probably want it, and C, I tried. So I got the 10th anniversary edition of Leviathan Wigs by James S.A. Corey, which just look at it, just neon pink, like neon pink, like it's just, even the inside of the dust jacket is illustrated. It's just absolutely beautiful and I love it so much, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen it and got so close to putting it in my basket, but I haven't. But it was half price, £12.50. I couldn't just leave it on the shelf, and I'm really excited for it because I've actually wanted to watch The Expanse for a while, because if you're unfamiliar, The Expanse is an Amazon Prime show that does really well. I also think Katie loves The Expanse, but I'm not sure, but I feel like she also likes The Expanse. And if she does, then that's just another way she's just worming her way into my head. But regardless, very excited for this, because it'll be something different, and I really want to branch out a little bit more, particularly when it comes to sci-fi. So super excited about this, and just, yeah. Now finally, the piece de resistance. That was dreadful. Pièce de resistance. I'm not gonna try. Finally, finally, the big bad boy at the end. If you've talked to me before, or you watched my anti-TBR tag, this book was on my anti-TBR tag because I had no intentions of ever reading it. I've been quite outspoken about it, and apparently I'm just a massive hypocrite, and I just needed the right opportunity to come along. By the right opportunity, I mean the gorgeous edition of the book. I'm fickle, and I'm very superficial. I don't know what else to tell you. But this book, when Waterstones announced their sale, I was like, right, what's the best book I can get from this, like special edition wise? And this one I was certain would probably be excluded from the offer, but it wasn't. But it's supposed to be £60, which is a lot of flipping money for a book, especially when it's a book that I swore I would never read. Not for any reason, just I've never been interested. But I'm trying to be more open with things I don't think I'll like. But also this was half price, so instead of £60, it was £30. But I also had a voucher from my work, which meant I took £25 off, which meant technically the £60 book only cost me £5. So, yeah, I couldn't say no. So it comes in this lovely blue box, which I kind of hate the blue box, I'm not gonna lie to you, because like the front looks nice, but the rest of it looks kind of cheap. But you can probably guess what this is already. If you also follow me on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, this was on there. So you have this lovely blue box, and then the Lord of the Rings special edition, which I swore I would never read The Lord of the Rings. I know, I'm a hypocrite, but look at it. It's white and beautiful and illustrated and heavy and Look at the sprayed edges. Just look. Just look. How could I leave this on the shelf? In good conscience, how could I leave this on the shelf? It's also still in the cellophane. I don't know if you can tell. It's still in the cellophane because I haven't had the heart to take it out yet. But this is my new prized possession, to be quite honest with you. And it's going to be sitting where poor From Blood and Ash is sat right now. She will be replaced by this. Probably after I finish filming this video. Because, yeah, it just deserves pride of place. Because it's beautiful and I love it. And it cost me £5. I said £55 on this book. I will just pause for the applause. Anyway, it's beautiful and I love it, and I'm actually excited to read The Lord of the Rings. Sentences I truly never thought I'd say, but anyway, yeah, this is the best purchase. I peaked. And that is it for my 2021 Christmas, December book haul. I got a lot of great books. Possibly too many, but I'm excited about every single one of them, and I really can't wait to read all of them. I am just surrounded in just little mini stacks of books right now, and it feels excellent, I'm not gonna lie. Thank you to everyone who did gift me things, to all my lovely friends, my family, for the great gifts. You all just know me so well, and I'm excited to read all of them and give you all my thoughts. If any of these are your favourites, or you have thoughts about any of these, please do let me know. Which ones I should prioritise over other ones, because I'm overwhelmed with choice, essentially. And yeah, I'm just really excited, and I hope you all had the loveliest Christmas and New Year, or whatever you celebrate. I hope you had a lovely last few weeks, and I will see you very soon. Bye!